All right, 3 o'clock, an address to Spartan Nation. And I also, hey, look, you're a Michigan fan, you're a Buckeye, you're a Golden Domer, you're welcome. This is a conversation for all. But I haven't told Rico what it's about, and I don't want to. I want his organic response. So 3 o'clock, we'll do that. Also, quick note, don't forget, Cash the Ticket is back a week from today. Jim Costa joins me, a college episode, a pro episode, special episodes for things like golf majors, Triple Crown, March Madness, where Rico will just pick every game correct. But look, subscribe to it, download it. One note, I just want to put this out there. I was doing a little work for Cash the Ticket, and I realized Costa has been yapping about how much he doesn't like Spencer Sanders, the quarterback of Oklahoma State. And I thought to myself, wow, that's a weird hill to die on. Like, what did Spencer Sanders ever do to you? I'm not a big Spencer Sanders guy, but
okay.
Then I saw. Who do you think Oklahoma State plays week 1?
Oh, CMU.
Come on.
Out in Stillwater with the paddles, Okie State minus 21. So I've come up with something. Costa doesn't know about it yet, but we're doing it.
Well, hopefully when you do Cash the Ticket, you won't have any news break the second that you're done, because Evan and I have always found that out with the 5-star zone.
Oh, yeah.
The second we get it in the can, we get it up. I recorded one this morning, and I leave.
Right, like you pick Utah, and then you find out the quarterback is not playing.
The Big
tough.
Ten TV deal, and we're all
the best you can do now. Thank God with technology is do an emergency pod, a drop. This is why you got to subscribe. You get a notification. You be like, "Yo, my bad. We got new info."
Yeah.
But here's my point. What do you make of this visual? Costa's going to take CMU. He already said it. You got to take the points. And I'm like, why is it? Ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
I take Oklahoma State. Okie State covers against CMU. Costa, week 2 of Cash the Ticket, in a Spencer Sanders jersey with a Stetson. And he's got to do the whole episode that way. Like a 10-gallon legitimate cowboy hat.
See, I thought you were going to go, he has to wear a mullet. But
no, if I wanted to be realistic,
The
he'd have to wear
Gundy
Pistol
mullet.
Pete's chaps. But I don't want to go that route.
I think the chaps would be better.
Look, the bottom, well, yeah, but the cameras won't pick that up.
No jeans under it.
Right, assless chaps for Jim Costa,
Okay.
week 2.
A little too far, but okay.
You can go to watch Mozambique right after.
Right. Strictly ghetto. All right, so Cash Tickets back. 5-star zone, waiting on the name approval. Waiting on the name approval for Rico's complete rebrand. Big Ten Pod, you're going to want it. And then, yes, our show YouTube is up and running separate from the ticket. So, again, if you want the videos, Evan's been crushing it. 5 or 6 vids a day. Yesterday, you got an exclusive tour of the dump that Roberto calls a workspace, or as Roberto put it, where the magic happens. Subscribe and like to the Valenti Show with Rico YouTube page. David, ticket text, we'll get a call and we'll get moving. But I want you to maintain the visual. Jim Costa, assless chaps, Stetson, week 2, when Oklahoma State pummels Central.
Yeah. The paddles, the orange.
What if I get him a little star and he has to wear it on his chest? Like the little leather vest that Pistol Pete wears, and we get that too. Where can one obtain a leather vest for Jim Costa?
You could probably go to any bike
I
shop.
was about to say a bike shop. Yeah.
All right, you know what? We're morphing this. Screw the Spencer Sanders jersey. He has to dress as Pistol Pete. And we get to color in his beard.
I was about to say either that, or you could probably go to one of those Halloween stores that pops up everywhere.
We're going to make this happen.
We should be open probably to beginning.
They are already open.
Yeah.
We're going to make this happen.
Yeah.
All right. It was a word of warning. All right. David, what do you have?
I'll read a couple texts, then I have a question to both of you based off something you already said. Ticket text here, though, says Cleveland is going to be drafting a QB next year. Watson isn't going to be Watson from a couple years ago. It's just not going to be.
Look, I think it's a concern, right? People had the same concerns with Mike Vick after the dog fighting animal abuse. The contract gets canceled. He came back to be good, but he wasn't that guy. I do think it's fair when you miss a couple years to at least bring it up.
I think so, but then I look at a guy like Alex Smith, and he went through multiple surgeries.
Like 30 surgeries.
And still came back years later. Like, I mean, aside from his leg just bleeding on its own in the middle of a game, Alex is pretty good. And then you saw that, like, it reminded me of the Roger Clemens sock. Like, yeah, maybe time to tap out, go play with your family, with your little girls, Alex. It can be done. Now, what's going to happen is this. Everybody's going to be saying and thinking he's going to be Deshaun of old. There's rust. There's timing. It's going to take a while. If he would have come back this year after 6 games, I think by the middle of the season, he would have been acclimated. By the time he feels good about this team, you're looking at playoffs, and if they don't make the playoffs, it's next season. And I think the Browns knew that. I'm not going to pay you to train. You'll get minimum salary next year. When you get the top dollar, I'm going to expect big things from you.
Well, then I'll just ask my question here because it's based off this, because the Cleveland Browns have already announced he will not play the rest of the preseason. Now, he can practice with them until August 30th, but do you think they're making a mistake?
I think they're making a huge mistake because he needs – football's timing. He's the quarterback. New receivers. Now, if this was a guy, playing with the same group of guys he's been playing with for years, you know what? Maybe it takes you a week or two and you're back. You need this. You need every rep you can get under center. I would play him. I don't see – you don't want him to get hurt, but that's the nature of the NFL. Any play, you can get knocked out and get injured. So I would play him all 3 games, at least a quarter, because he needs – he needs to be out there with the team, because now you're throwing away this year. By the time he's ready, it's going to be too late.
Well, then, I mean, who needs it more, though, at that point? And I agree with everything you're saying, but who needs it more, him or the guy who's starting for 11 weeks? Because at the end of the day, one guy's going to be playing a hell of a lot more than the other. That's just the way I see it.
I guess at that point, Kenny, you're thinking short-term, long-term. Short-term, if you're just trying to win those games to get to Deshaun, fine. But by the time you get to him, you may have a collapse in the season. But you won a lot of games early. Or you look long-term, we may not win it all this year, but maybe we get a high draft pick, we bring in another receiver or something like else. We've locked this man up. The guy that said they're going to be drafting a QB, I don't see that happening. I could think about 240 million reasons why you're not going to be drafting a QB.
And Rico wins. Go to Quentin, and then we'll get moving. Quentin, go ahead, brother.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for taking my call. Thank you. I'm a Browns fan, so I've obviously been following this from the beginning. Personally, I think that he probably shouldn't have gotten any games suspended, but I understand that's not the question. The question is, how do I feel about 11? I feel great about it because Goodell has been talking from the beginning that he wanted the full season. So the fact that we, could possibly maybe go 5-6 maybe and have a shot at the playoffs, even with what you guys just brought up with his possible rust, even with him in there those last, 6-7 games, I'll take it as a shot to possibly get a playoff spot. So I'll take the 11.
Yeah, Quentin, listen, I explained it earlier. I never believed a year was in the offing because it would have helped the Browns contractually. And we know in NFL circles and in ownership level, a lot of owners are upset because the Browns got over. Because the Browns financially crafted a deal to work around Roger Goodell and the Justice Hammer. So, look, I'm glad it's done. I don't want to talk about it no more. We'll see in 3 months into the season, and that's it. And by the time he comes back, here's the reality of the world. You don't have to like it. No one's going to care. He's going to come back, he's going to play, and that's it. Yeah. And that's that. Just because it ain't right doesn't mean it's not real.
No.
248-539-9797.